Hi, my name is Gary Arnold. I'm the Public Affairs Manager at Access Living, and this is Chicago Adapt Productions. Today we're filming at Access Living, and joining me today is Scott Nance. Scott is with Chicago Adapt, also a peer of mine here at Access Living, and we're going to be talking a little bit in general about the Illinois state budget, but more specifically around some of the issues and some of the people around those issues that impact people with disabilities. First, Scott, do you have official title within Chicago Adapt?
This current year, I'm serving as our membership coordinator.
Membership coordinator, congratulations. I hope that's going well for you.
It is.
Okay.
Our chapter's strong.
Okay, cool. So what I want to begin with is, ever since Governor Rauner kind of made the first of his two budget introductions. The first one would have been in February of 2015. The disability community has kind of been forced to mobilize and to fight in order to protect home services.
In a way that it never has before.
In a way that it never has before. So in a nutshell, what are home services for people with disabilities?
Well, home services are the lifeline to the pursuit of life and liberty and justice. And so without home services, people would be put at risk of institutionalization, unnecessary institutionalization, probable incarceration in our so-called justice system. And there is really no such thing as homeless in the city of Chicago. If you survive the summer, you're almost certainly not going to survive the winter. So for our community, without home services, it really truly is a matter of life and death.
Right. So to be a little more specific, though, let's say I'm someone who qualifies for home services. What do those home services get me?
So home services get you a whole litany of possible supports and services that allow you to maintain your life of dignity and choice in your own home. And those would be including, but not limited to, home-delivered meals, for some folks, in-home supports from workers either assigned by a home health care agency or folks that they get to hire called individual providers. And these are folks who are paid by the state of Illinois but are hired, interviewed, trained, managed, and fired if necessary by the person with a disability who is inviting them into their own home. So there's also durable medical equipment supports and a whole litany, as I mentioned earlier, of supports that folks get for that.
Great. So thank you. So home services then are this kind of program offered under the state of Illinois Department of Human Services, through which about 30,000 people in Illinois are able to live in their own homes and apartments rather than being forced into a nursing home, unnecessarily institutionalized, as Scott mentioned before, which is a violation of the 1999 Olmsted Supreme Court decision. So as part of Governor Rauner's first budget, he proposed changing the eligibility score for the home services program. If that eligibility threshold had been changed, it was estimated that about 10,000 people of the 30,000 people in the home services program would have lost their services, been forced who knows where, eventually winding up in the hospital, in a nursing home, or worse, which in the long run, most experts say, most people like you and me say, is going to cost Illinois much more money in the long run, not to mention the independence that it's stealing from people. But what did the disability community do in order to stop that change that was proposed by Governor Rauner last year in 2015?
Well, what we did, I think, is as important as what we didn't do. And what we didn't do is what I think Governor Rauner was really pinning his hopes on, and that is that we would quibble over the scraps, that we would fight one another for what little was being offered. And we didn't do that. What ended up happening instead was we stayed strong and we developed our coalition and our relationships that were already established, but in certain instances may have been a little dormant, and not really having had an opportunity to really flex their advocacy muscles, because we've never faced a political opponent quite like this. And it's not even about politics as much as it is about business. And so the thing that we really did best was we had multiple meetings, lots of phone conversations, email exchanges, and then took action. went down to Springfield, mobilized, got out into the streets. And that has a lot to do with not just impact from what's happening in Rauner's administration, but what's happening across the state and across our city and in our own neighborhoods, in local wards that are experiencing their own more localized issues. And so when we have thousands of people show up on Thanksgiving Day or the day after Thanksgiving with Black Lives Matter, this is a huge proponent for us as well, because it's a motivator to see, oh my goodness, when thousands of people get together and take the streets, look at what kind of a difference they can make.
Right. So the community mobilized. And one tool that the community used in order to mobilize was actually a piece of legislation.
Yes.
I don't remember the specific bill number, but it was basically referred to in the community as the Dawn Score Protection Bill. So when we talk about that eligibility threshold, we talk about a specific number. That number is now 29, and under the governor's proposed budget, the number would have been raised to 37.
And this is on the heels of the Dawn Score having just recently been raised anyway under the SMART Act a few years ago.
Right.
So it's not like we haven't already experienced a cut like this.
Right.
But this would have taken it to a whole other
Right.
level.
Actually, every year, I would argue, no matter who what the administration looks like or what aisle they tend to be on, it seems like the disability community always has to mobilize to some extent to protect home services. This year, obviously, it was a little different ball game in terms of the extent of it. But we had this legislative tool that we were fighting. We got passed, and as expected, the governor vetoed it. And then in November of 2015, a lot of organizing work was being done in order to turn out an override veto vote. It was sometime in November of 2015. Do you remember what happened there?
So I am going to politicize a little bit.
It's Chicago Adapt Camp.
Right.
You're not a 501c3.
Right. So yeah. So I am speaking as a member of Chicago Adapt, and Chicago Adapt is a lot like Access Living, not in the way that we're a 501c3 or anything like that, but we're grassroots, and we don't really care who it is that's in our corner, so long as they're in our corner, and that is for justice and the rights of people with disabilities. And so whether it's Democrat, Republican, Green, or Libertarian, doesn't matter so long as they're fighting for us. So with that understanding, it was pretty much all Democrats and then 6 Republicans that we had managed to get on the side of this Dawn Score bill. And when that vote took place in November, what happened was one Democrat decided to not vote at all. And this was not out of forgetfulness, this was by design. They didn't vote no against the vote, but the lack of their vote, their missing vote, did prevent the bill from moving forward. Now, there was still a memo that was sent by Governor Rauner assuring the disability community and seniors that this was going to be an issue that would no longer be on the table, so there was no longer a threat from the current administration of raising the Dawn Score from 29 to 37 and impacting those thousands of people, to over 10,000 people who receive services. But as you've mentioned, the threat is imminent every year.
Right. Because would you rather have a piece of paper, where it says in a memo that someone says, "Oh, I'm not going to raise the score," or would you like to have a law? Exactly. I think the choice is clear. All right. So let's just get to it. You mentioned there was one person who purposely did not show up for that vote. That was kind of. It would have made a significant difference if that person and the veto had been overridden. The legislation's been reintroduced in another form, and now it's House Bill 4351, which is the Dawn Score Protection Bill. This for 2016. We wouldn't need it if we had passed it last year. But that takes us to that Democratic legislator, Ken Duncan, who was not there. And today, as we're taping this, it's February 23rd, 2016. Tell me about what you did in order to send a message, what Chicago Adapt did in order to send a message to legislator Duncan yesterday, February 22nd.
So yesterday on February 22nd, right at around 11:30, over 30 people representing at least 7 different organizations went from AP Deli on 75th Street and marched to State Representative Ken Duncan's office. And this required a little bit of negotiation trying to get into the door. They have a buzz mechanism. It's not an accessible buzzing mechanism, so we sent a couple of folks ahead. And when we were met at the door, we were denied access, we were denied entry, we were denied a meeting with our publicly inducted person who was voted to represent people in that area. And it's entirely conceivable that he wasn't there, maybe because he's running a campaign for re-election. But at the end of the day, he attempted to silence our voices. We would not be deterred.
Full services.
Our services.
Full services.
Our services.
Full services.
Our services.
And we stayed for the duration of a pretty long lunch hour till 1 o'clock. So for over an hour and a half, we were in sub-freezing temperatures. It was below 32 degrees at the time. And we're chanting and sharing stories and singing and expressing our rage over his betrayal of our community. And when I say our community, I mean not just the disability community. I'm talking about veterans who are impacted by this. I'm talking about families who are impacted by this. I'm talking about seniors. I'm talking about folks who require child care, single mothers, you name it. Good grief, our schools are at risk with Duncan when he switches and sides with a governor who is putting all of these services and supports at risk. And collateral damage be damned, he's pushing forward with his agenda with no recourse in sight, relentlessly pursuing his agenda. And we were there to send a message, and we're not finished yet. This will not be the last of these reports. This is only the first as it relates to Representative Duncan, unless he comes forward and meets our demands. And our demands are very simply support House Bill 4351. That's a big one. I don't think it's completely inappropriate to make it a public apology for some of the statements he's made to some of our people in our advocacy efforts. He has made it personal for a couple of our folks by providing some snide and insulting remarks to people that are insulting to the disability community. And getting past that, supporting House Bill 4351, and we want to meet with him. Mm-hmm. He's an important piece of this puzzle. And for him to switch like that is one thing, but we need him to know what our needs are. Right. And so the last demand that we issued, really the big one, was we want to meet with him the day after the primaries. Win or lose, if he's going to be the Democratic representative on the ticket in November, he's still going to be on the ticket for at least 9 months. Mm-hmm. So we've got to work with him one way or another. Right. Right. So to Representative Ken Duncan, if you're seeing this, meet with Chicago Adapt on March 16th. And you know how to reach us. You've received our list of demands. Contact Chicago Adapt, meet with us so that you can learn firsthand what our needs are and why they're so important, why you're so important to those needs, okay?
So it's pretty straightforward. You're asking for support of 4351 and a chance to meet and communicate.
Correct.
All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add at this point?
Free our people.
All right.
And it's not just to free our people, it's to keep our people free. We know here in your work at Access Living how important that is and how difficult it is. We work, Access Living works very hard to free people from institutional settings, but then there's also the effort to keep them from going back in. Yeah. So free our people and keep them free.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Scott, for joining us today. This has been Scott Nance of Chicago Adapt, and I'm Gary Arnold, and this has been Chicago Adapt Production.
Duncan, you can't hide. We know you're on Ronner's side. Duncan, you can't hide. We know you're on Ronner's side. Duncan, you can't hide. We know you're on Ronner's side.
There's about 30, 40 folks down here, many of them who are wheelchair users, seniors, veterans, who are upset with Ken Duncan's betrayal. He's been in the news a lot lately, and we figured we want to keep him in the news.
Twice he have refused to vote yes for bills that safeguard the workers so they won't end up eating all these big astronomical cuts. Twice he has stabbed us in the back, and we say no to Ken Duncan. Full services.
Our services.
Full services.
Our services.
Full services.
Our services.
I said we
We must continue to have the fight and let Ken Duncan know that we will not go away.
He lied to us in our face, sitting right there in the office. Now he must be punished.
What do we want? Home care. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Home care. When do we want it? Now.
I'm asking him not to run over my feet. You're taping right now. He's running over. Okay, he's backing up. Thank you. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Yeah,
He's running over my feet.
someone who says they support disability rights. He's a downright liar.
Traitor!
Traitor! Traitor!
Traitor! Traitor! Traitor! Traitor! Traitor! Traitor!
And we told him, well, I told him that I knew who he was. As I told him I knew who he was, he aggressively attempted to insult or intimidate me because I told him that I'm not out campaigning or door knocking for your political re-election. He tried to intimidate me about my hairstyle, my mouth, my hands, my demeanor altogether. And saying that I'm not important enough that they put you out here to represent SEIU and Miss Juliana Stratton as a nobody, and he got this election somehow.
You're only getting half of the story. She cussed the rep out. She cussed the rep out. She cussed the rep out. She betcha.
We want Duncan! We want Duncan!
You played the tape. I was there.
We want Duncan!
I was there.
We want Duncan!
He should come and apologize to us for trying to cut services, for taking the side of a governor who's pushing an austerity agenda. How can Ken Duncan do that? It's because he's getting paid off!
That's right.
He took the money! He took the money! He was paid off! 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 He took the billionaire's money. Whose side is he on? The billionaire's side.
We have demands, once again, we talked about our demands for Representative Duncan. First, he must promise to support and vote for HB 4351, the bill that will continue to protect the non-eligibility score.
Here, here.
All right. Yeah. Second, we demand that he return the campaign money he got from Ronald. Our billionaire governor and his super PAC. Do we want a politician that can be bought?
No!
Do we want a politician that can be bought?
No!
Do we want a politician that can be bought?
No!
Next.
Represent the people!
Represent the people. Represent the people. Represent the people.
Represent the people! Represent the people!
Hi, this is Gary Arnold again with Adapt Productions. We're at Access Living today filming some interviews, and right now joining me is Kathleen O'Brien. She is part of Access Living's community organizing department, and she is spearheading the organizing group for housing. First, let's start with that. The housing group at Access Living, the housing organizing group. What's the name of it?
It's we call it DRAC, which stands for the Disability Rights Action Coalition for Housing.
And just in general, what does DRAC do? What's the goal of DRAC?
It works for affordable, accessible housing all around Chicago with our leaders from Access Living.
Okay, and about how many active people do you have in the group?
There's a 5-person steering committee and about 20 or 30 active members.
Ah, that's pretty high participation. That's great. I imagine there would be a lot of participation. In my time at Access Living, I've been here quite a while now, but every year it seems like the most number of inquiries and phone calls we get is from people who are looking for housing. So basically, over and over again, I've heard and I've said it, and other people outside of Access Living say it, if you're poor, if you're disabled, the search for housing is probably the most difficult search for housing there is of any population.
Yes, if you're poor, it's hard, and if you're disabled, it's doubly hard because the accommodations needed to make a place safe and livable for somebody with a disability costs money.
Right.
So, just double the problems.
Right. So DRAC's job, or DRAC's mission, as I understand it then, is to kind of advocate and organize around things that are going to kind of increase the supply, the stock of accessible housing in the long run, right?
Yes, to increase the supply and to, I think, make people realize that it's a problem.
Right.
Too.
Okay, great. And so from what I understand, for the past, I don't know, 1 or 2 years, kind of one of the main issues around housing that DRAC has been working on is this ordinance, the city ordinance called the Keeping the Promise Ordinance.
Yes.
Is that correct? All right. Can you explain a little bit about what that ordinance is?
The Keeping the Promise Ordinance is an ordinance that would require the Chicago Housing Authority to give away 13,000 housing vouchers that it's been withholding, which amounts to about $440 million that is allocated from HUD, I believe, and they're just not spending it. And that affects people with disabilities because about a third of the people on the waiting list for those vouchers, we estimate, had disabilities, and it could be higher.
Mm-hmm. So when you say housing voucher, what is a voucher? How does that work? If I get a voucher, what does that mean?
I'm not an expert, but a housing voucher gives you, if you get a voucher, it gives you the opportunity to look at low-income housing and use it to find a place to live.
So it's kind of like a subsidy?
Yes.
To help you pay your rent?
To help you pay your rent, yes.
Okay, all right. So in how many vouchers did you say that the Keeping the Promise ordinance would release?
13,000.
13,000.
Right. 13,000.
So that's a lot of housing.
Yes, and a third of those, the people on the waiting list for like the general CHA waiting list, we estimate have disabilities.
Okay. All right.
And it's just wrong for everybody too, right?
Right.
For that
exactly.
to be happening.
So it's been a while, right? The Keeping the Promise ordinance, when was it first introduced?
I think it was over 2 years ago, and I know that Access Living has been involved in it for a little over 9 months.
Okay, all right.
So I think because it's part of a coalition called the Chicago Housing Initiative that is a bunch of different organizations, but I know that DRAC has been actively working on it for about 9 months.
9 months. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. And I remember, I don't know, when did you start working at Access Living?
November.
November. Was it November? Was it just after you got here that there was a news conference at City Hall where an alderman kind of introduced it? Was he calling for a public hearing?
That was just before I got here, and then since then we've been working on the hearing that happened Wednesday.
Yes. So
Yes.
today is February 23rd. So that was February 17th. Same day as Rounder's budget address.
Yes.
Was this hearing at City Hall.
Yes.
So I know that's something that you've been working on for a long time, was
Right.
pushing for this public hearing.
Yes.
And so you finally got it. What happened at the public hearing?
BPI and opposing aldermen were
What is BPI?
Business Professional Institute,
Okay,
I think.
okay.
And they, because of their connections to CHA, I think oppose the ordinance, and opposing aldermen were allowed to talk for a very, very, very long time. The hearing started at 10 and didn't get over till 7 p.m., which is a really long time for a subject matter hearing. And my leaders, 2 of my leaders did a wonderful job. They weren't allowed to speak until 4:30, or Access Living's leaders, I should say.
Right. Okay.
So it was kind of stacked against us. People were looking down at papers while people on our side were talking. But we did stick it out and got to say what we needed to say, and everybody made great cases for this very important ordinance and talking about the struggles of homelessness. And for example, there's one leader here who spoke who's been on the CHA waiting list for 20 years. And that was, I found out at the hearing, because I mostly interact with people here, that was unfortunately way more common of a story than it should be.
So let me repeat this just, or to make sure I'm clear. You said the hearing began at 10 o'clock, and you said all of the opposing aldermen and this group called the Business Professionals Institute.
I believe that, I'm not exactly sure that's what BPI stands for.
But a group called BPI.
A group called BPI.
They all spoke first. Every opposing party spoke first.
Every opposing party spoke first. Chairman Joe Moore told us he didn't believe in time constraints, or told the Shy Coalition leader that he didn't believe in time constraints, and so it seemed pretty obvious that they were trying to make it go as long as it could, so that people would leave.
Did Alderman Joe Moore stay for the entire hearing?
He did stay.
Good. That's good.
He did look down at his papers a lot while we were talking, and was disrespectful.
What do you remember what time it was when the first testifier in support of the ordinance was able to speak?
I believe it was around 3:30.
So at 5.5 hours after the hearing begins, the council hears from the first person in support of the ordinance.
Yes.
Well, first of all, though, congratulations. I know it's been a lot of work, and the Chicago Housing Initiative Coalition deserves a lot of credit for keeping this group together and keeping this issue moving forward, and holding the hearing is a key first step. But what's the next? Have you heard from the Chicago Housing Initiative Coalition? What's next?
We actually have a meeting where I'll be able to get more firm details today, but there's no giving up in sight. I know that people are committed to making them keep their promise.
Yeah. Well, let me back up a second, actually. We mentioned that all these people spoke opposing it, but what reason do they give for opposing this ordinance if it's supposed to open up the stock of housing and give all these people who need vouchers?
Most of what I was gathering is their argument is there's already too much government oversight and too many rules and regulations. And but the CHA is a government entity that's failing these people.
Right.
So it's sad and doesn't make any sense, but that's what they were saying.
Really? Did they give any kind of alternative option in terms of, did they recognize that there's a problem with this waiting list and the fact that there's so many people looking for housing? Is there any alternative option they're proposing in terms of finding housing?
A very supportive alderman, who I can't remember her name right now, I'm so sorry, but she asked them those questions and they seemed pretty skilled in sidestepping what she was saying. They just were saying that the CHA does the best they can, and that this is what is going on, and that they were listing numbers of the people who have gotten housing over the last years, which is, great, but there are still 13,000 that you're not even giving the shot.
Right.
You're not even giving the chance.
Yeah.
So.
All right. All right. Well, is there anything you'd like to add? We know, all right, so the hearing was last week, and then you're going to have kind of a strategy meeting coming up to kind of determine next steps. Anything else you want to add?
Just thank you for giving me the chance to talk about this, and I hope that to be able to keep you guys updated, so if there's any further actions, we can get some people there. So,
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks so much for joining us and for talking about the ordinance. This has been Gary Arnold speaking with Kathleen O'Brien about the Keeping the Promise ordinance and the work of housing advocates to open up the stock of affordable and accessible housing in Chicago. Thanks a lot for joining us, and have a great day.